In the tough stretch of 2020 and 2021, today, there seems to be a frequency in the air that the equation of having a 9-to-5 with no side hustle has come to its closure. With brave confidence, many have taken a leap and in some cases, bungee jumped in a market of competition tied to their gifts and talents, hoping to develop a product or service to claim their slice of every competitor's favorite cake, market share. Today, I sit with and follow around Atlanta Native Akilah Johnson, the owner of United Trust Transportation, to give her story and lifestyle of why and how she developed a company of quality and how she strategically established its amazing social proof. Welcome to Inspired by You, By.Corey. Enjoy the show. Good evening, how you doing?
Hi, Corey.
I know this has most definitely been a long, I don't want to say long time coming, but this is something I pretty much wanted to do for a while with a lot of people that I actually do business with.
Okay.
A lot of people that I actually admire. And also I feel as if they're heading in an awesome direction that I also like to learn things from and also better ditch off information that I learn as well. I love to be able to grow with people. Today, most importantly, I guess I would have you to introduce yourself. But I want to most definitely say that to let you know I most definitely appreciate you being here today. And also
thank you.
To be able to get your journey, your insight, and who you are as a person and who you evolved from into who you are now. But most importantly, who are you want to become in the future. You go ahead. And they've got cameras right here, everybody. Thank y'all very much.
Okay, wow, that was...
I don't know if you want to talk to the camera or either one of them.
Those were a lot of questions.
How was that?
In the beginning. Okay.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Let's see. Who am I as a person? Well,
Right.
First of all, my name is Akilah Johnson, and I started United Trust Transportation in July of 2020. So we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary, so I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
What prompted me to start my own company? Well, I'll first say entrepreneurship was never something that I thought about doing, right? When I was growing up, I was taught, get good grades in school, get into college, get your career, retire, 401k.
Similar to like the rich dad, poor dad mentality.
Really?
Yeah, you put it in stone.
So that's what I did,
Right.
right? I did not tell my son, no, that he had to go to college.
Right.
I wanted him to figure out what it was that he enjoyed, what he wanted to do, so I kind of tried to change it up a little bit.
Okay.
I would excel quickly in whatever field I was in. Like I've been a flight attendant, I've managed the doctor's office, I've been a...
Flight attendant, doctor's office, because I'm going to ask you questions about that.
No problem.
Flight attendant, doctor's office, okay.
I've been a probation officer.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, so it's
Really?
I've been all over the spectrum.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
The final stop was, I did Director of Human Resources and then a hospitality manager. And that was the last stop, the hospitality manager. So hospitality, I don't know if you've ever worked in hospitality, but...
Customer service?
Yeah, but the hospitality end, you work long hours.
Okay.
Long hours. So I was working maybe 60 hours a week.
Right.
And the pay just wasn't enough.
Okay.
It just wasn't enough. So I was like, okay, well, let me figure out what I can do to make a little extra money, because I did not want to leave. I knew what the end game was, and I wanted to get there. But when I went to drive, which is what I would do to make extra money here and there, I was making my 2-week salary in like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay.
Money was a huge motivator, one thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah.
Money was a huge motivator, and it also was, I guess, can we say a form of like, is it epiphany or enlightenment? Like, because a lot of times an individual will go for the money, and then when they realize what comes with the money to get it, it's like, oh.
No, well, what came with the money was what the epiphany was, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a load off.
Oh.
That work-life balance came with the money. And
staff and all that.
I won't say that it was actually the money. It was the fact that I was able to make the same amount of money in a shorter period of time,
Right.
which left time for me.
Okay.
Right? To do self-care, to spend time with family and friends, which I didn't get to do before.
Right.
So the mental health
Was there?
was there.
So in other words, a lot of people are not wise enough to look at what it's going to cost you to make this type of income. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just look at the money and they just go for it. I've been guilty of that before. But on your end, I guess you say you was mature enough and wise enough to look at, okay, not just the money wise, like I'm able to spend time with my people, spend time with my kids, be able to mentor if you have any mentors or mentees or whatnot. And also evaluating, most importantly, your time.
Right.
That was a huge thing.
Which is priceless. But I don't want to make it seem like it's all gumdrops and lollipops, because that's not it, right?
Gotcha.
Because as an entrepreneur, you wear all the hats. In
the beginning.
Yes, in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the beginning.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
You can't compare your business to someone else's business.
Right.
So the length of time that it takes for one company to bring on associates, it may take you a little longer,
Right.
or vice versa. So you never know how long you're going to wear those many hats.
Right.
Right? So there's that, and then there's also, if you make a mistake, right? There's no
You
one
gotta
else.
answer for it.
Yeah, there's no one else to blame.
Customer service, back orders, shipment. I mean, that's what I was doing.
You are front office, you are back office, you are the receptionist, you are the janitor, you wear all the hats, right? Not only that, there's no guarantee in pay.
Right.
If you don't get out there and get it, then it's not coming to you.
Right.
So there's no sick leave, there's no PTO, there's no 401k, right? You have to make that happen.
Right.
So there are things that you as an individual have to put into place to make sure you're still secure in the future. Because sometimes people just think about the money right now.
Right.
Oh, I'm making the money right now, I'm making the money right now. But we know there are peaks and valleys in business. So you have to make sure you're setting yourself up.
Question. So in other words, like I say, you also wise on for us. Being a employee for somebody,
right?
That you deal with so many different personalities, lack of creative when it comes to the schedule. I got to be here at this time, regardless of what my family actually got going on. But at the same time, when being an entrepreneur, there is a trade-off to the point where you're willing to. I'd rather make more and take on a lot of responsibilities where one thing can go wrong within my business and it can kill my brand, versus than just listening to somebody else. And I don't want to make this, I guess, the narrative of working a job is not where it's at. But I personally feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, that some people are just born with it. And when they're born with it, it's just, after you work for so many different people, and that's to go back to a question I had earlier, it's the fact that you learn so many different skills that you become so sharpened in. And then like a light bulb go off, like what you said, man, I made what I made in 2 weeks, like in 3 days. And then you also balance out the rest of your time. You know what I'm saying? Like health, or if I want to go get my feet done, if I want to go to a out of town or anything. It's like, if it's in you, it's in you. I don't know if a person can actually just wake up one day and just like, I want to do this. Because when the challenges come with being an entrepreneur, it can, not necessarily, it can be, what's the word, bombarded? You can become extremely bombarded with it.
It can be overbearing.
But you have been willing to make that sacrifice. Like, I like what I do, and
Absolutely.
whatever comes with it, I'm standing right here. That's why I would be at.
And that's a blessing for me. Everyone doesn't like what they do, right? And entrepreneurship comes on different levels.
Right.
Everyone doesn't have to quit their job to be an entrepreneur.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
you don't have to quit your job just to become an entrepreneur. You can stay where you are. I think sometimes people just get the perception that, oh, I have to quit my job and I have to do. Let your 9 to 5 pay for whatever it is that you want to do, right? And then when your side hustle starts making you more money than your 9 to 5, then you look at, okay, is it time for me to leave?
Right. You know what's so crazy about that too? Because that is so absolutely right. But mathematically, I look at it too, like you got to have some kind of a decent multiple to know when to actually let the job go. Like with me, I just on the whim, I'm done. On the whim, you know. And I got a wife and kid, because I realized insurance. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
So it's like you got to put a multiple in for that too.
Well,
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
All right or wrong?
No, I'm saying especially when you have others that you're thinking about. Of course, you want to take that into consideration. Me, I was an empty nester when I decided to do it.
Okay.
Right? So it was just me that I had to worry about. And my mindset was, okay, this can't be it. Like, I know I did not just make my 2-week salary in 3 days.
Right.
Let me see if it was a fluke.
Okay.
Right?
You tried it again?
I tried it again.
Same thing.
And then I tried it again.
And it kept working.
Okay, it's time to put my notice in.
Wow,
it's time to put my notice in. But at the time we were very short staffed, so I didn't want to just leave.
Right.
I did tell him, hey, I will give you the opportunity to find my replacement. So I was there longer than 2 weeks.
Okay, let me ask you about this, that question now. On the way here, it's a lot of rain going on. It's a lot going on. And in the midst of me actually coming here, like this pretty much, I guess you say, the first episode.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is like one of the moments where like you really going to decide where you're going to place your skills. Like, are you going to put your skills into shooting pilots or shoot YouTube episodes for people, or are you going to develop your own YouTube episode and pretty much share what you have been through and what other people can learn from you, even from your errors or your good decisions, you know? And I guess that was a more like a portion where you cut off and that's you cut your ties, you know. Mm-hmm. Did you kind of wrestle in your mind to actually go back at times when things didn't go extremely well, or you came with challenges within your situation? You just kept it pushing.
No.
Because let me ask you this though: was the reward the same and very consistent for you? Just like, okay, cool.
Again, I'll go back to peaks and valleys.
Okay.
I don't make $2,500 every week.
Yeah, say that.
Right? No, I'm just saying that's just in general.
Okay.
I don't make $2,500 every week, or I don't make $3,500 every week.
Right.
But when you go from making $3,000-$4,000 a week, and then you make $800 a week, then you like, whoo.
Right. Yeah. I got by the skin of my tooth.
Wait a minute.
Right.
But my mindset always goes to, okay, Lord. Okay.
So we got God in it too.
Here we go.
That's a good thing.
Because I stepped out on faith.
Right.
Right? You can't step out on faith and then just leave the faith at the beginning.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You got to hold on to it.
Hold on to your faith. So how do you hold on? How do you mentally hold on to this faith though?
I'm not saying it's extremely easy, because there are times where I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's never a time where I regret what I did though. Let's be clear on that.
Okay.
There's never a time where I have said, man, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Oh, no. The question is, okay, God, what's the next move?
Right.
Because I'm always trying to make my next move my best move, but sometimes that can be a handicap when you want things to be so perfect.
And that's what I was getting at.
That you procrastinate and you don't do it. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it with these reels. Y'all young tenders good with the Instagram and that's.
Yeah, I got you. Trust me. That was my reason asking that. Because like I said, I'm also here to share and learn, but most importantly, I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
And I go through like so much when it deals with. I had an individual last night that called me, become an editor for him, and it's like, okay, cool. Because I had just recently just asked God, okay, what's the next move? You know what I'm saying? Got a good call, but one thing about me, I do business up front. Awesome opportunity, but I told him like, yo, I don't want to jump on this project unless we have like a pool of editors and a chief of editor. I don't want to be like the head of the editor or whatnot, you know. But it's a good light for me. But at the same time, it's like I never really had that moment where it's just boom, wide open. It's like I actually had to trailblaze through it all. It never just transitioned easy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like if the money just hit extremely crazy, you know, I think that's awesome. But it never did. I really had to work for every equipment, every edit. I had to push through a lot, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I said like, man, if this wasn't in me, I won't be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me just speaking to myself and not making my situation everybody else's, but that's pretty much been the journey that I've been on. I had to work for every penny. You know what I'm saying?
When that comes up, think about your past jobs, right? When you didn't necessarily want to go to work, you didn't necessarily want to be there.
You had to go, right?
You had to go.
Yeah.
And you had to get the job done.
Right.
So you have to bring that same mentality into your own business. If that's going to be your mindset for someone else,
Need to be for
that
yourself.
definitely needs to be your mindset for you.
Gotcha.
Right.
So let me ask you this though: how is it that, and I'm guilty of this, how is it that we're so easy to give others our all, and at times when we have an idea that we don't see right now what it could be or whatnot, it's kind of hard for us to give it to ourselves though?
I think oftentimes it's the unknown.
Okay.
Right? When you go to work for a company, you know the vision.
Yeah, by check.
You know the mission statement. You know what I'm saying? You know what that company is after. You know what the purpose of that company is.
Right.
So I think oftentimes we don't sit down and put that together for our company.
Correct.
Right? Because if you know what you're going for, if things are steady changing, if it's constantly changing, like you're not gonna know what you're looking for. So you have to have that organization. You have to know what do I want from my company?
Right.
What is the purpose of my company? What's my mission?
Right.
Once you have that, I think it becomes a little easier, but you also have to have faith in yourself.
Gotcha. Okay, so check this out. Love that. I love that. I needed to hear that. Because it's like, I'm sorry, you can have so many people like myself, you can have so much confidence, but when they're going through it by themselves, you know, you need counseling. Like, you really do need counseling. Like, business is not an easy thing. Like, a lot of people just see the woo.
And people don't know that a lot of entrepreneurs, even the people who you see on social media or on television, these people have been grinding for a while. But we don't show that.
Right.
We don't show it because we don't want people to see us vulnerable.
Right.
We don't want, the same reason that I don't take the camera in the gym with me, because I'm starting this new workout journey.
Okay.
I don't want people to see the struggle because it's rough.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a story of that. Me and my wife went and worked out, right? She's in shape. Like, she's serious with it. Like, she's thorough, you know. Like,
she's an athlete, right?
But I can run, but I can run like 4 or 5 miles straight, literally off the whim. Couple of stretches. But when it comes to weights,
cardio and weights are two totally different things.
let me tell you, I'm working out with her, right? So she goes over, she gets like she gets the 10. I said, okay, cool. She get the 10s. I'm gonna go grab these 20s, man. You know what I'm saying? I go get the 20s, bro. I go to hit a couple. I'm like, she steady going. She said, all right, sound good. I'm like, you're kind of heavy, you know what I'm saying? She's like, go down. I was like, no. So she like, go down because you gonna hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? She's like, take these 10. so then, right? I said, okay, cool. I humbled myself. You know? I grabbed the 10s. She grabbed the 5s. So I get the hit now. I'm like, bro, you're in the tune. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. I said, look, man, I'm going to really have to humble myself. I said, look, babe, I see what you're saying now, because if you keep going, most importantly, dealing with reps, you can end up hurting yourself because of the consistency.
And
you have to start where you at. We end up sharing the 5. We end up literally sharing them. But
you got your workout in.
And I didn't feel as if I did something wrong. I felt good mentally, and I felt good physically. But I didn't feel all, you know, so you just can't.
That ego was
it's the ego. And I think that's too, when it goes to, like you're saying, for us, a lot of people share what's going on in their business. On Instagram, a lot of it, and I'm guilty too, a lot of it be a form of ego, you know, instead of actually thinking about the client first. What is it that the actual client want? How do I reach out to this client? Are you really worth $1,200 a vid? Are you really worth this? Or you know, in other words, looking at things from the client's perspective and dimming down your ego, because at the time, like I say, business is tough at times, you know.
And this is why people have to get away from comparing themselves and their process and where they are in their process to what they see on social media.
Correct.
Right? Because you never know where they are.
Right.
In their process.
Right.
So if you're just starting out, how you gonna compare yourself to someone who's been in business for 8 years?
You want to grab the 20-pound weight. That's exactly what I went through. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
experience over time. Okay, another thing too though. I want to ask you this right here. What keeps you afloat? I know you mentioned God earlier. Does that pretty much give you a peace of mind? Did you ever feel like this? I was supposed to do this. Not necessarily feel as if like the business itself, but I was born to do business. Did you get that comfort from your belief or whatnot?
I've always been in a leadership role, so that has definitely prepared me for business, right? So I will never take away my experience working in corporate, because it taught me a lot. Good, bad, indifferent, it taught me a lot. And just like anything else, you take from an experience what you need, and you leave everything else, right? So whatever nuggets I was able to pick up from each job, I bring it into this, right? So the hospitality component, the probation officer component, the flight attendant component, all of that is brought into what I do, and my clients love it, right?
And they see it.
They see it. They see it.
It most definitely. Like I know me and you had a couple conversations, and one thing that you had said before, and I'm not gonna say it on camera, but your customer service really separates you from other competitors. You can have a better car, you can have this, you can have that, but customer service is what's most importantly going to establish you from the next person. And you will always be actually chosen.
That experience.
Do you consider yourself as a chauffeur? And what's the difference between a chauffeur and a driver, I guess you would say?
I guess I would consider myself a chauffeur.
I think you're better than a chauffeur, though.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I would consider myself a chauffeur, a driver, whatever I need to be to the client at that time. One
thing I would say too, I think you give an awesome, you give personality.
Thank you.
Because like a lot of chauffeurs is like, okay, he there, he gonna do what I tell him to do. It's like, that's it. But you have more that I think that the client would actually want, whether it's a conversation or a good laugh. Because I've seen it, you know what I'm saying? Like I've seen it, you know, and how people actually interact with you, you know. Which I think is an awesome thing. I'm sorry to cut you off too.
No, you're fine. But I think the difference between a chauffeur and just a driver, and a lot of drivers are chauffeurs, they just choose to use the term driver because, I don't know, some people look at chauffeur as more of a servant type.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. You're not there by far.
I get it, but chauffeurs have certain standards that they have to live up to.
Correct.
Chauffeurs have to have for hire endorsements. Chauffeurs typically, especially if they have their own limo service, they have to go through a class or training with Department of Public Safety. As a limo company, we have to have a certain type of insurance, right? And people don't know that. That's the back end. It's not for you to worry about as the client, right? But there is a difference. And while it's viewed as, like I said, a servant type position, which is fine. You servers are viewed as a servant type position. It's fine. Whatever I need to be in that moment, if my client feels more comfortable saying they have a driver, they feel more comfortable saying they have a chauffeur, then that's what I'll be in that moment. Right.
You know, another word is adapting. You know how to adapt to for the customer.
Absolutely.
What does limousine mean? Because when that's limousine, I think of the extremely long car, you know.
Well, you know, limos come in different shapes and sizes now.
I thought it had to be long, you know what I'm
saying? No, you're referring to stretch limos.
Okay, stretch limos.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So when is a limousine considered as being a stretch limo? When it's been altered, I guess you would say?
No, not necessarily altered. Like it's stretched. It's longer. it's the long one.
That was a good one. That's a good.
Usually it has 9 or more passengers.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So that's when it comes to the specs.
But literally, it's like stretched because you can have a.
You got to keep going, baby. You tell me over there.
No, because literally you can have a spreader that can seat more than 9, but it's not considered a stretch.
No more. Cause I'm sorry, cause it's just when I was brought up.
You telling your age?
No, I'm 37. I don't mind.
That's all.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I always just saw limos as being like
the long
thing.
Yeah. Now you have the S550 Mercedes considered to be a limo.
Okay.
If it's under a limousine company, right? Generally, they're black on black.
Right. You really hit me on it.
But no, I'm saying because there are some that aren't.
Some are white, right?
Right. But if it's under the limousine company and it's been registered under that limousine company as one of the limos, it's a limo.
Okay. Another thing, besides you actually running your own company, I also can tell that, like you say, good at customer service, you're also good at business, and also counseling people at times. I'm quite sure there are a lot of people when seeing this video, which I hope they subscribe to, that they're going to be pretty much inspired, not necessarily going to your market or my market, but wanting to do business for themselves by listening to some of the inspiration that you talked about earlier, like for us, time management, money, just pretty much having a form of freedom. What is it that you will most definitely tell them first to do? And let's just, I guess, like 3 major things that you had to develop mentally, and we're gonna get up out of here.
I think I would say research.
Okay. Whatever
field that you're trying to get into, because you need to know what you need to have in place.
Right.
Setting a strong foundation is very, very important. I know a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs that have lost a lot of money because they did not research. Right. First. And they were just going out, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. I want to sell this, I want to sell this, I want to sell this. But is that a hot item? Is that item going to sell? When you're in business, you have to provide what the people want, not necessarily what you want. Sometimes it coincides, and that's a beautiful thing. But sometimes it doesn't. So you have to do your research. And some fields require more than others, and you have to be honest with yourself as to where you are with it. How much work are you ready to put into it? How much work can you afford to put into it? Gotcha. Some businesses require a lot of upfront costs, some don't.
Okay.
So I would definitely say research.
Before you go, I want to ask you this. If you don't agree with it, cool, but just correct me if you don't agree with it. In other words, you're saying supply the demand, don't demand the supply. But if you can solve a problem, you then can demand supply.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. Good. But you would have done research to see that there's a problem that needs to be solved, yes?
Right.
So either way, you got to do your research.
Okay.
Next. You know? Number 2, I would say go in with a, let me see, what's the term that I want to use?
Don't make it complicated.
No, I'm not. I want them to when you go in, you just have to know that it's not easy.
Right.
It's not just going to come. Challenge. It's not going to be an overnight success type situation.
Right.
Now, there are people who have put products out and overnight, boom. But again, you don't know what they tried prior to that, what they saw did not work, what did work, and how they came up with that product, right? So not everything is an overnight success, and I don't want people to go in and get discouraged when they're at month number 3 and sales aren't where they think sales should be.
Correct.
Right? So just keep pushing the same way that you would keep going. The same way you're on that job now and you've been there 5 years past your expiration, you keep pushing.
Expiration? You can feel when you outdated them. You can feel it.
Yeah, expiration.
The milk on the shelf, you can feel like
you know it's time to go. Yeah. You know it's time to go, but you stay there.
Yeah. And
you push through. Yeah. You have to do that with your own business too, right? Yeah. 3, I would say, make it yours, right?
Branding, that's what you're saying.
Not just branding, yes, but when I say make it yours, I mean make it yours. You are your own individual person, right? There are people who sell the same product, and I know, Chick-fil-A sells chicken nuggets, McDonald's sells chicken nuggets, Wendy's sells chicken nuggets.
Right down the street.
But they have their own taste, right? They have their own chicken nugget. So I'm saying it to say make it your own. Like with me, there are several different limousine companies out there, but I make it my own. My branding is not the same. My pricing is not the same. What I offer to my clients is not the same, right? Show me another limousine service that's going to pick you up in the morning and have your coffee the way you like it and your breakfast the way you like it.
Do that.
They're not doing it, right?
Right.
I get other drivers that tell me, you charge too much. There are other drivers that say, you don't charge enough.
Right.
I charge what's comfortable for my business, right? My clients are going to pay it. Not every client is your client.
Right. That's another thing. Yeah.
Not all money is good money.
I actually up prices just to get rid of some people.
Yeah.
It's a headache, man. I'll just be honest with you.
All clients are not your clients. All money is not good money. Right?
Absolutely.
So you have to be true to yourself, and that's where staying focused on that mission will help you. It will definitely help you.
One thing I most definitely can relate to that is when I actually started this channel, I developed like 3 pillars for it, and which was film, journey, and faith journey and film. And there was times I was actually trying to put together some advertisement for the channel and whatnot. But I noticed I was getting lost, you know. But when I went back to the pillars, or I guess you can say in many cases, what is it called? Your objective, company objective. It put me back on the right track. And I used to that's one of the first things when it comes down to a business plan. They say you got to have objective. And Robert Kiyosaki talks about the what is it called? The triangle. I forget the name of the triangle. It's the triangle he talks about.
Okay.
For us when you're developing your company and whatnot. But it really does help because you can get lost trying to get customers in here and there, and you realize like, man, why do my company look like this? Because you're acquiring the wrong customers from your objective that you said you actually wanted, and it doesn't fit the imagery and the vision that you actually had for it. So I know we actually got to roll. I want to tell you thank you very much for being on the very first episode of Inspired by You. And I most definitely hope you inspired people out there. You most definitely inspired me. And just keep pushing, man, and keep the coffee hot and keep the wheels turning. But most importantly, keep excellent customer service.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So how we going to end? Anything you most definitely want to let everybody know? Tell them. Service, business, where to follow you.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be wonderful, huh?
You can get business without dealing with social media so much, right? In other words, to the point where it's like a lot of people don't see that, don't know that. They think you only can get business on social media. But
listen.
Go ahead.
All right, so I have a website, which is www.unitedtrusttransportation.com. I'm also on social media, United Trust Transportation, across all platforms. And, I don't mind people reaching out to call me directly, 470-399-0746.
We good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We out. All right. That's okay.
I know everybody asked me the question. They wanted to know what kind. I know he's gonna wild out and he's gonna do something crazy. Everybody wanted to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.